Thanks. The Rutgers men were a great story last year, making it into the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1991, although in fairness, they would have made it in 2020 as well. They won a game for the first time since 1983, and now they look to build. And Geo Baker coming back for a fifth year. You see the transfers as well, as Rutgers now looks to take another step under Coach Steve Pikiell, and very pleased to have both Geo Baker and Ron Harper Jr. here with us. And we saw Ron a little bit earlier with Caleb McConell going at it. Well, video game action. So, Ron, Caleb's not up here. He doesn't have a microphone. He's off to the side. So you can say whatever you want about what happened in this game. Who won?
That game was a showcase of pure domination. As you can see, I'm having fun with Caleb right there. I'm winning by like 20. You know, he's not up here to defend himself.
He's throwing his arms up, though, on the other side.
There's nothing to defend. That's what happened. That's
well,
just,
exactly.
Harsh reality.
Seriously, this is a really neat setup for you guys. I was able to go into the locker room and see your jerseys in there. They got the jerseys in the Pacers locker room. You know, you've got an NBA locker room, you got a WNBA locker room, you've got this incredible lounge, all this stuff that's going on. What's this like for the players to be able to experience all this, Gio?
Oh, it's just super special. You know, just to see guys from other teams. I feel like that's always something that's just really fun, and it's something we missed out on last year. So, you know, just exciting to be back to like normalcy and yeah, just see all the guys that we're going to compete with all year.
Let's talk a little bit about last year before we move on to this year. Again, it was a breakthrough year. It was really exciting. I think it was gratifying for those of us, even those of us who are on the outside of the program, just with kind of the cruelty of 2020, right? 2020 was cruel on so many levels. And frankly, college basketball season's being canceled is probably, on a global scale, the least of it. And yet we all knew what you guys went through, and we all knew the battle that you had to get there. So what did it mean to step on that court? And, Coach, I'll start with you, but I want to hear from all you guys. What did it mean to step on that court wearing a Rutgers jersey in the NCAA tournament last year?
Well, I mean, it was like a 2-year journey, too. So we started that a long time ago when that last season ended with a game at Purdue. And to carry that in the pandemic and all the other issues that are facing these young student athletes, just amazing to get there. And to be able to play on that stage. And that's what we talked about when we recruited these two guys. It hadn't been done in a long time. And, you know, Caleb McConell, all these guys jumped on board when we didn't have that kind of tradition, you know, and they did it. So it was an exciting year, and we're looking for another exciting year this year.
Before we move on to this year, Gio and Ron, I'm interested. Like, Ron, when you think about stepping on that court, playing in the NCAA tournament, and again, the culmination of all these things that you had worked for and that were taken away the year before, what did it mean to you?
It meant a lot. You know, it was a dream come true. Like Coach Pikiell said, it was a 2-year journey. My sophomore season ended at Purdue, and we would have made the tournament. So last year was a real fulfilling moment. And, you know, a bunch of people always come up to me and tell me that the Rutgers men's basketball team was like the light of their life during the pandemic. You know, us getting to the tournament for the first time in 30 years, it meant a lot for us, but a lot for the fans. It brought a lot of people joy. And, you know, we're looking to bring that same joy this year.
Gio?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much going to say the same thing. You know, I feel like one thing that Ron didn't really mention is, you know, we sacrificed a lot. You know, off the court, you know, we couldn't really see friends, couldn't see family, so it made it that much more special for us. But like Ron said, you know, the fans hadn't seen that in 30 years, so that's something that was super special for them as well.
So how do you build on it, Gio? What's the next step with this program?
I mean, we talk about it all the time. We want to win a national championship. You know, we'll come out and say that to anybody. You know, that's our goal. We say it every single day in practice. And I feel like we had the off season like a national championship. Like, we really been working very hard together as a unit, and that's our goal.
All right, so how do you make that goal reality, Ron? What do you guys need to do with this team to go from being a really good team, being one of the top 32 teams in the country, to being the best team in the country?
To be the best team in the country, we just got to all embrace our roles and embrace the hardships and the sacrifices that we have to make to be a national championship caliber team. And for that to happen, we got to do things we're not used to doing. And, you know, I think we had a great offseason. A lot of guys getting a lot of individual work in. And I feel like the whole roster 1 through 15 improved this offseason in many aspects of the game. And we really work hard, and we love each other. And this is a great group of guys, and this is the group to do it.
There is uncertainty for a coach every offseason now in college basketball, right? Because you have the ability for players to transfer anywhere they want to go. Now, the flip side is true. Of course, you can go and work the transfer portal as you have as well. But there's also the possibility of turning pro. And so when you found out from both of these guys that they were going to be part of your roster next year, take me through what you heard.
Well, I tell you,
what's your thought?
Spend too much time talking about, guys that have left. I want to really brag about the guys that stayed in the program and done an unbelievable job. Caleb McConell, these two guys coming back, that was one of the happiest days, of my coaching career. But Paul Mulcahy and Cliff and all the different players that have worked hard, Mawat Mag and Oscar and Dean Reber, these guys have done an unbelievable job. And then we picked up two guys in the portal that are mature and going to help us. So I'm very thankful for this year's roster. I love coaching these guys. I told them that the other day, and I know Geo hasn't heard that in 5 years when Coach Pikiell said, I really like this team a lot, and we got some special qualities. But having these guys come back and having the summers, that they had and the improvements that they made, bodes really well for us moving forward here, and we're looking for a real special year today.
You mentioned Caleb, and he's here with you as well. And, of course, he had some health issues early on last year. And at a certain point, I think you had told me you weren't even sure you were going to have him at all.
Right.
And then for him to come back and really play well and contribute at times for you, what does it mean to have him healthy from the word go?
I mean, he's been great from day one. I mean, he had a double-double in the NCAA tournament last year. He's played through every kind of injury. He's a worker. These guys know he's going to have a special year this year, and it started with him being healthy for the first time in the offseason. And if he can continue that through, he's got good leadership qualities. He wants to be one of the best defenders in the conference, and he can be. So just to have someone with his experience and his grit and toughness really means a lot to our program.
Cliff Amourier now taking over kind of full-time as your starting center. There was a ton of hype around him when he came in last year, and we saw flashes of it. We certainly saw his ability to alter the game on the interior. How does he take the next step?
He's been great, and these guys will tell you he's had as good an off-season and worked out with the Nigerian national team. He's as hard a worker as we've had in the program. He's athletic. We had two players last year at that spot. He did get hurt during the season, which is a hard thing to do. Your freshman year is always tough. But this kid's special in so many ways. Great student, great person, a worker. I think people are going to understand how good Cliff is this year.
So it sounds like he has really elevated his game. I'm interested from both of you in going through summer workouts and now early on here in preseason workouts. Ron, who else has elevated? Who else can we expect to make a contribution?
I think Mawat Mag is really elevated. Him and Cliff are roommates, so they push each other pretty hard. They're always in the gym. But Mawat has really elevated his game, and he's embracing his role, and he does all the little things, and he's one of the best defenders I ever go against. I have the privilege of getting guarded by him and Caleb McConell in practice, so it doesn't really get better than that. But Mawat Mag's going to have a great year. He's going to show a lot of people what he's capable of, and I'm excited for him.
Gio, I want to ask you a bit about NIL. You were really a strong advocate for that. You were one of the players who spoke out quite a bit about, hey, this is an opportunity that student athletes ought to have. How do you feel about the way that it has played out?
I mean, I'm just happy. I'm excited. When I was speaking out, I had my teammates' support, I had coaches' support, was something that was really special to me. But, right now I'm just happy about all the opportunities for people. I think when I think of NIL, I think about individuality. I think about, basketball players as people, not just as basketball players. So everyone kind of gets to put their own little individual spin on whatever opportunities they may have. So I'm excited for it.
Last question for you, Coach. You didn't really play your freshmen a whole lot last year, maybe outside of Cliff, because you didn't really need to, right? I mean, you had kind of this veteran core. You had a really good team. But some of these players were pretty heavily recruited guys. Who can step up among the players we didn't see a whole lot of last year? Mawat Mag was a player, a younger player who was mentioned, but who else?
I tell you, it's been a real competitive offseason, and we have a freshman, Jaden Jones, who's 6'8" and really talented scorer. We have Dean Reber, 6'10" and terrific athlete, a big guy around the basket. We have Oscar Palmquist, the guy from Sweden, a lefty shooter that can shoot the basketball. We brought in Jalen Miller, a guard who could really defend, especially on the ball. And we brought in, a couple transfers too, and Andre Hyatt. And Ralph Agee is 6'9", 6'10", and 265, a man. And I'm really excited. This locker room's been great. They've worked hard. There's going to be a lot of guys competing for minutes. It's going to be an exciting season in Piscataway.
Well, it was exciting last year as well. It'll be really cool to see the fans back in the rack. I know you guys echo that sentiment. They deserve to be a part of what you guys have built. Steve Pikiell, Geo Baker, Ron Harper Jr., thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Best of luck this year. I was mentioning the locker room and how cool it is. The jerseys, you see them in there. And again, this is in